Dipti is joining us now for what the press is saying. And of course, she's starting off in Ukraine with the White House suspending that military aid to Ukraine, Dipti.
Yeah, that's right, Stuart. That order to suspend military aid is effective immediately. The New York Times, like a lot of the papers reporting on this this Tuesday, the United States is temporarily suspending all military aid. It'll be reinstated when President Donald Trump has determined that Ukraine is seriously committed to peace negotiations with Russia. Of course, all of this coming after Donald Trump's very heated exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last Friday during his visit at the White House.
And the news coming early this Tuesday, too late, of course, for the front pages. But what about the European press? What are they saying?
Well, there's a lot of focus today in the European press about what needs to be done, what Europe needs to be done, and how it's going to find the money. This is Le Figaro here, which also headlines on this, noting that Europeans are searching for a credible plan on Ukraine. Also noting that there'll be an extraordinary European summit on Ukraine held later this week. And at the top of the agenda for the leaders of Europe will be how to save Ukraine in the short and long term, but also how to establish a sort of roadmap to ensure that they'll be able to find funds to assure Ukraine's security, especially as the U.S.'s support is waning. And you have a similar headline here from Le Monde newspaper. Europe is looking for a peace plan, and in its editorial today, it talks about the very important national debate on Ukraine that was held in French Parliament yesterday. The paper noting rather critical, though, of French MPs, opposition MPs in particular, who appeared to focus more on the 2027 French presidential elections rather than the issue and the threats to Europe that are at hand right now.
And what other reaction from Europe, Dipti?
Well, you have this from the Daily Express, British Daily, focusing actually on British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's words, defiant words. He vowed that Britain will lead from the front to protect Ukraine and stave off the Russian threat to Europe, to Britain, and more widely to Europe. And in fact, there's an interesting article in Politico today. In fact, it was on the front of their website earlier today, where they talk about how Keir Starmer has become the unlikely leader of the free world. His first 7 months in leadership have been complicated, chaotic. His popularity has waned as well. But his recent leadership on Ukraine, for instance, hosting that summit on the weekend, welcoming Zelensky, and a successful visit to the White House, in which Donald Trump even appeared to sing his praises, has helped transform him and his image as a leader. He's gone from a leader who's been compared to an HR manager to an unlikely wartime envoy. And in fact, his unshowy style is a stark and, for some, a welcome contrast to that of Emmanuel Macron.
Well, it's changing politics, but also changing the tactics. Ukrainian press is looking at how the nature of the war has changed in 3 years.
Yeah, and in particular, drone technology and how the war has transformed because of drone technology. You have this from the Kyiv Independent today, which talks about how Russia actually has increased its production, its domestic production of different types of drones, reconnaissance drones, combat drones, and decoy drones. These are ones without a payload. Ultimately, it's made it very difficult to distinguish deadly drones from reconnaissance ones, for instance, and has overloaded Ukrainian air defense systems. And there's a really nice photo essay actually today in the New York Times, which looks at how the war in Ukraine has changed, and it's deadlier than ever because of the drone technology. While in the early stages, the war was fought with traditional weapons, drones do most of the killing, according to the Times today. Around 70% of death and injury in the war in Ukraine is due to drones. It could also change how future wars are fought. And one of the big key things here is that drone pilots attack with joysticks and video screens in the safety of bunkers, often kilometers away from the front line. So it often gives troops the feeling that there are 1,000 snipers in the skies.
Let's move to something different. The French press today is looking at a number of controversies. This is linked to referee decisions in football. It's after the latest scandal this weekend.
Yeah, they're focusing on violence against referees. It was after the shocking incident on the weekend, a picture that you see on the front of Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien newspaper. Olympique Lyonnais coach Paulo Fonseca came to almost physical blows, as you see there. He's forehead to forehead with the referee Benoît Milot during Lyon's Ligue 1 game against Brest. The violent gesture over a red card, it must be said, has drawn shock and ire, and it comes just days after Pablo Longoria, the boss of Olympique de Marseille, was reportedly implicated in accusations of corruption. Now, Longoria, for his part, has been suspended for 15 matches. Lyon's coach Fonseca could face possibly an even harsher penalty for this violent gesture. In today's paper, Le Parisien, really calling, the editor of Le Parisien, calling for courageous actions on the part of Lyon, who it says should fire its coach, but also the French Football League and its disciplinary commission, who need to understand that suspensions and fines are simply not enough. Stuart.
And finally from Dipti, she's going to bring us an incredible video. This is a video, apparently, I haven't seen this yet. It's of a mouse appearing to give mouse-to-mouse resuscitation.
Yeah, that's right. Scientists, I'll give you the article first. I'll leave the video for just in a few minutes.
Okay.
The Times of London today reports that scientists were absolutely astounded to find their lab mice actively trying to save one another. So in a series of experiments, they observed mice fighting to revive their unconscious siblings who had been drugged to knock them out. And you can see them pawing, licking, and then pulling the tongue away. Now I can show you the video. As they try and, what appears that they're trying to resuscitate their fellow mice, the one who's unconscious. And the video is quite astounding because you do see in this moment here, the mouse is really trying to, what appears it's trying to clear the airways of its unconscious peer. At one point, you can even see it pull the tongue away in an apparent gesture to help his fallen mouse. So I guess they're calling it mouse-to-mouse resuscitation, if it is such a thing, but it's quite incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing. I hope he's done the proper training. Because that's what, the health and safety side of this is.
I don't actually know if it helped resuscitate the mouse either, but at least the intention was there, right?
I hope so.
It's very sweet.
Thanks a lot. Dipti wrong there with the papers on France 24.